Hey guys, Shadow here. So today I want to be talking to you about my Ike deck and just sort of the cards that are inside and why I chose to use them. So let's get started. So starting off, our main character of course is going to be Ike, and we're running one copy of the level 1 Ike. So you can choose to use more instead of some of the other ones like the level 4 or level 3, but using one level 1 Ike I think is better because it allows you to get that early class change in. So honestly I don't think his effect is too great because of how underutilized it is. I mean, the most common way of getting his level 1 effect to activate, which is that he gains plus 10 while being level 1, is that you use a Lynthia's effect early on. And that's only pretty much if you don't end up drawing your Ike, your level 3 or level 4 Ike. So yeah, like I said, it's okay. So I'm only using one copy of him, but you can choose to use more if you want instead of some of the other ones. I'm also using 4 level 3 Ikes. His effect's not really relevant. He allows you to attack the back row, which is okay, but pretty much he's just going to be that intermediate step that you want to have more stacks on him. So ideally, your opening hand, you should draw at least one level 3 Ike and maybe a level 4 Ike, but this way you can just level him up from level 1 during your second turn, which is really good because it's really fast and it brings you up to 60 base, so it does, that way you take less damage. And we got level 4 Ike, so it's standard. You always run like 4 copies of the level 4. I actually seen some decks where they're running 2 copies of him. His effect's really not too great because it's really slow. He gains the double damage effect when you level up a card, but pretty much you're not going to stay at a level 4 Ike for too long because you want to be leveling up to your level 5 Ike, which is one of the best level 5s as the main character so far. So level 5 Ike, the thing you want to get to is his last effect where he gains plus 10 and does double damage, which brings him up to an 80 base as a main character. So that's a pretty big deal, 80 base and doing double damage. Pretty much a lot of cards won't be able to get over him and you're just going to be able to run through anything. His other effects allow him to attack far away, as well as discarding an Ike to boost everything by 30 after you kill a card. So yeah, it's pretty good, but mainly you want to get him to that level 5 spot and then you're good. So that's what the whole deck is be revolved around. And next up, we have 4 copies of the level 1 Soren. I don't care what anyone says, Soren is beautiful. But anyways, we have 4 copies of the level 1. His ability is pretty good. It allows him to gain plus 20 when he's battling a flying unit. So it's like other wind mages, except it's 10 less, but you don't have to flip a bond for it. That's kind of irrelevant, but his drawing effect, you know, when you mill him, his support effect allows you to draw one, discard one, like most mages do. It's pretty good just early on to get that hand going. But our main guy, I mean, like the main reason we're using Soren is going to be for the level 4. So I actually only have 3 at the moment. I have another one coming in the mail soon. But yeah, so 4 level 4 Sorens. His effect allows you to draw an extra card when you have 3 or less cards in your hand at the start of your turn. So this pretty much just lets you add cards to your hand. You don't use that effect too often, but it's still a good effect when it does go off. And his second ability allows you to discard a Soren, and then all your opponent's units that are 80 base, well 80 at the time of using the effect or higher, fail to support completely. So this is pretty good against cards like Ike, for example, or your opponent's Black Knight, your opponent's dragons like Kana, or if your opponent is playing a Ranulf deck and they have Tibarn on the field, you can just make that thing, make all the supports fail, and Ranulf's effect would completely be negated. And that could be exactly what you need to finish off the game. And next off we have a Lynthia. So we got 4 copies of a level 1 Lynthia, and sort of like I predicted earlier, I think Lynthia is going to be the main like engine of the deck, so it's going to be pushing your cards to level up, especially that Ike early on. You pretty much need a Lynthia for your Ike to be reaching level 5 usually, with ideal conditions obviously. So pretty much you want to get a Lynthia's effect off twice, at least once, but preferably twice to help you get to that level 5 Ike spot. And yeah, so we're using 4 copies of her because you need to draw her early. It also helps with other cards like Mist or Marcia, which I'll talk about later. So 4 copies of her. We're using 2 copies of the level 3 Lynthia. She's good for when the card levels up, she boosts everything by 10, so it's a pretty good, decent support effect. And also, she's a flying unit, so all flying units have that 30 support that is really crucial to every deck. So yeah, and you can also flip 2 bonds to move something. It's a pretty good backup if you really need to kill something in the back. And also, she's also good for blocking for your level 4 Lynthia, which is one of the best cards in this deck, I think. And obviously she's super expensive, so I can totally understand if you guys cannot afford 4 copies of her. But we are going to be using 4 copies of our level 4 Lynthia, so whenever she declares an attack, you can flip 1 bond down and then everything will gain plus 10, even herself. So that brings her up to a 70 base attack, and it brings everything else up to like 10 base more, which is great. So that's like a really good effect. And also when you class change her, you can move all your units around. So yeah, it's really good for that burst of damage that you really need in any deck to just finish off the game that turn. And next off, we have 4 copies of level 1 Mist, so she's pretty much just your priest. But you have to use 4 copies of her in this deck because of leveling up, of course. You want to be leveling up your cards, and you need to have enough cards to level up. So yeah, 4 copies of her, and then I'm missing 2 copies of our level 4 Mist, but ideally I would want to use 4 copies of the level 4 Mist. So her first effect allows you to attack far away if you have 3 total cards, or the stack of her is 3 cards, which means you have 3 total cards. Yeah. So when you have 3 cards pretty much on her, you can attack far away. So it's a decent effect. She's 60 base, and it's not too hard to get that last stack on her. And her second effect is what you really use her for. So whenever she class changes, you can flip 1 bond to heal 1 card pretty much, so you can get 1 card back. It's a pretty nice effect because usually you need to flip 2 cards, and this one, when you class change her, all you need to do is flip 1 card. So the main play you want to do, and the reason I'm running 4, is that you want to level her up from 1 turn, right? From the level 3 to level 4, and then you can get 1 card back from that in addition to your draw from class changing. And then on your next turn, you can level her up again if you have another copy in your hand, and then she'll be level 3, and you get to get another card back. And another draw, of course. And next we have Marcia. So we're using 4 copies of the level 1. You're pretty much just going to use her for that rescue ability when you tap her and you move a card. Super useful effect, and I'm so glad they gave a green deck a rescue card because the blue decks have way enough. I'm kind of salty about that blue engine actually. Now you're just splashing in every single thing you can. But this is a pure green deck, so I'm not using the blue engine. Anyways, so Marcia, our rescue card, of course, and she's 30 support being a flyer. Super good. Our other card, level 4 Marcia, we're using 4 copies of her as well, mainly for that 30 support, but also if you have just her in your hand, you can play her, use Lynthia's, level 1 Lynthia's effect to level her up, and then she'll actually gain that second class change ability even though she didn't really class change. So yeah, it allows you to boost other things when you mill a flying unit. Pretty nice effect, kind of like Sumia, and then also she takes less damage when she battles tome units. So like in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, when a flying Pegasus Knight battles a thing that's not a wind tome unit, they have more resistance. So yeah, pretty cool what they did there. And then we have Jill, so we're using 4 copies of her as well. She doesn't have any cool effects or anything, although if you do battle a Fang deck, she's super good early on to do that damage to that Ranulf that you'll be having a hard time doing damage to later. So that's pretty useful, and if you battle dragons, you have a chance to get over them, because they're usually 60 base attack. And of course, she is 30 support, and that is pretty much why I'm using her. And our last card in the deck is 2 copies of the Black Knight. So you can't use too many copies of him because 1, he's level 6, so you need to really wait for late game, and 2, he has 0 support. So right now he is the only card in the game that has 0 support, unfortunately. But he is a beast at 80 base attack, which you could use your Soren to get over if you really need to, but 80 base attack, and also he can boost himself by more attack, can do 2 damage, and can attack far away if you have 2 bonds to flip over. Also, your opponent can't crit over him with their weaker cards, which might be what they want to do because they want to do damage to your main character as well. But anyways, he's a pretty good card, as long as you can not mill him. So ideally, you want to draw 1, maybe put 1 in your bond, but that's pretty much about it. I found playing just 1 kind of bad, because when I draw him earlier on, I want to put him in the bond, but then I'll be like, wait, I have no more in this deck, no more in my deck, so I can't really use him for the rest of the game, and I'm not using Noe in this deck. So that's why I'm using 2. But you can choose to use 1 if you only have 1. I pulled way too many of him anyways. And here are some honorable mentions that I considered using, and you can consider using if you don't have some of the more expensive cards. So we have Grail. He's just that level 3 card that has 70 base that every deck has pretty much. he's okay. I mean, he's always a good replacement. And we have Alana, the level 1 and level 3. Just another mage. She's not that great because dragon units aren't huge right now, and she can't even do extra damage to the Meniketes or the Dragonstone units, so unfortunately she's kind of not useful in that way. But she's still cool. She's one of the characters I like in the game, so I considered using her. We got Ralph, so I think he's the best of the 3 brothers right now. He's a flying unit killer, whatever. He can kill flying units, and when you mill him, he has that 40 support, so it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I considered using him. I actually used him for a little while. And then we have Jill. So unfortunately, one of her effects will never trigger because you're not using any beast units in this deck. But she also has that really neat multiple rescue effect where you can tap her and move as many cards in your front to the back. Too bad this deck you don't really play too many cards in the front and then have to move them to the back. You kind of play them where you want them to be. So she's not too useful in this deck, but she is 30 support. So if you don't have those Lynthias, you can potentially run Jills just for that support. So here it is again, all neatly laid out if you guys just want to see an overall deck list of it. If you have any questions or any recommendations for me to fix this deck up, feel free to leave one in the description. I just wanted to share this with you guys. I might be playing some games with it later and I'll record it if I get the chance. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.